Well, welcome along to the Timeform Sporting Life Weekend preview. David Orr joined by a stellar cast of Ben Linfoot and Kieran Clark to look ahead to the action. Now, Ben, I know you wanted a race-by-race guide to the Shergar Cup. We're not doing that. Instead, I've been in Ireland this week, filming ahead of the Sky Bet Ebor Festival, and we're going to talk about a big race in Ireland. It's the Group 1 Phoenix Stakes, an interesting two-year-old race as ever. We've got the Timeform ratings, Kieran, for this. There's no River Tiber. Aidan O'Brien relies on Unquestionable, and he is top of the shop.
He is, yeah. We've just been discussing. He's only won this 17 times, so he's going for an 18th, and it is a fascinating clash, isn't it, between Unquestionable and Bucanero Fuerte. Is that the right pronunciation, Scoop?
You've nailed it.
I think I've nailed it. Yeah. Obviously, they clashed horns here in the Railway last time, and then you've got Papa Fortuna, who won the Albany. She's up against the boys. And then a little bit of a gap to Give Me the Beat Boys, who ran in that Coventry, and His Majesty, who probably should have won at Royal Ascot, drawn on the wrong side, but does have a little bit to find with a few of these. So it's a small but select field. It's a race that does throw up plenty of good performers, doesn't it? Little Big Bear burst onto the scene, as one football pundit likes to say, last year, and likes of Siskin as well have won it recently. So it's a form which should work out, I think.
We've got the video clue, Ben, Bucanero Fuerte and Unquestionable. Kevin T. Here they are in action. What did you take from this race?
Well, it was a strongly run race because you've got the pacemaker Lightning Army, who's just going to fade away on the rail, and Bucanero Fuerte in the white cap in the ammo silks comes through and puts it up to Unquestionable in the Al Shakab silks for Aidan O'Brien, and they have a bit of a set two here in the final furlong, but Bucanero Fuerte does really well to battle back and get up just on the line, and I think Adrian Murray has done a similar thing this weekend. Instead of that pacemaker, there's another one in there, I think Launch, and I can see her going forward and really trying to make this a test, because I do think both of those horses we're probably going to see over 7 at some point perhaps this season, and it could be a similar sort of setup here.
Funny that Unquestionable travel like the best horse in the race, didn't it? It looked a question of when he was going to pick him up. There are actually some discussion whether he actually got in front, but at the line he wasn't. Can you see him reversing that form?
I can, yeah. I loved the attitude of the winner. I just think Unquestionable. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because Bucanero Fuerte, easy for me to say, as he was backing up quite quickly after Royal Ascot, wasn't he? And he showed a brilliant attitude. I just think with Unquestionable, he's improving all the time. He's a Wootton Bassett, and I think a few of these tend to get better with age. And
they're both Wootton Bassets, aren't they?
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
What's his?
Well, do your research.
There's very little between them, and a cigarette paper last time. It could be the same again.
Quick line, Give Me the Beat Boys.
I like him actually. Hasn't been seen since Royal Ascot, so obviously missed the Railway Stakes, but that could be in his favour coming in here fresh. And I like the way he ran at Ascot. He gave River Tiber a lovely toe into the race, if you remember, on the far side, and Bucanero Fuerte actually beat him on the near side but raced away from him, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Give Me the Beat Boys reverse that form. I do think at the Curragh it can be a track where you can get in a rhythm on the front end, and if Give Me the Beat Boys it's just sat off the pacemaker, it might get first run on these. Jesse Carrington won this race a couple of years ago with Lucky Vega, and I think Give Me the Beat Boys is probably the value to give her another win in the contest.
Do you worry about the fact he's a bungle in a jungle? They tend to be very early 2-year-olds, and
not in middle of July, middle of August, whatever we are. It's I think going into a 3-year-old career, it might be on my mind, but at this stage, I'm not concerned about that, and that 53-day break could be crucial in a race like this.
A vote for Give Me the Beat Boys from Ben. Kevin, what are you going to put up in this?
Yeah, I'll put up Unquestionable. It's quite topical, really. His granddam was runner-up in the Sweet Solera, so that'll bring us on nicely to
what a lovely link.
But just a quick mention on Papa Fortuna. It's going to sound like one of your quotes here, Ben, but I think she's a terrible price at 11-4. She doesn't have that much to find on ratings, but she's in against the boys. She has a nice big type physically. I just think she'll struggle against the Colts. I'll probably be taking her on. But yeah, I think Unquestionable can overturn that form from the Railway.
Well, as Kieran mentioned, on the domestic front, as well as the Shergar Cup, we've got the Molson Coors Sweet Solera Stakes at Newmarket. Timeform ratings for this are going to appear on screen. Fallen Angel, Kieran, is top of the shop, 109p, 108 to Soprano and a gap to the rest. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, it's a fascinating contest, I think, actually, because you've got the likes of Fallen Angel and Soprano who've met previously at Sandown, and they've already proven they're up to this sort of level. That was a listed contest they ran in last time. And then you've got Carolina Reaper, who was really impressive at Newmarket recently, and Wild Goddess, they're both stepping up in grade. And you've also got Jabara, who I thought was quite interesting. So I know you were quite keen on her for Royal Ascot Scoop, and things didn't quite go away, but she was really, really impressive on debut. So she could definitely prove better than that rating on the screen. You can see there she does have the plus, which means, you know, not quite a P, but we still think she could do better. So it's teed up really nicely, and yeah, we've got another clash, haven't we, between Fallen Angel and Soprano.
As you say, we've seen these two in action before. That was at Sandown. According to my running order, finishing second and third is the VT clip. Here we are, Ben. Talk us through this, and will they finish in the same order this time?
Yeah, we've got Soprano in the Highclere Silks and Fallen Angel in the Clipper Logistics Silks. Light blue and grey there in the middle of the track. Beaten by Ollie Sangster's Shawari this day, but both ran okay. Probably not to the level you need to win a Group 3 like this. So I do think they'll have to improve. Fallen Angel wins by a length, but if you just watch the closing stages, William Buick, once he knows he's fate in third, he just goes a little bit easy on Soprano, and you wouldn't be surprised to see that form reverse. Both were quite keen in the early stages of that contest, but saw the races out okay. So I think there is room for improvement if they do learn to settle better in the early stages, and it obviously is a key piece of form. But like Kieran said, there's quite a few really interesting improvers against them who are coming out of maiden and novice company, and I don't think they have to improve too much to reach their level.
A line from you then, Ben, on Carolina Reaper, one of the potential improvers.
Yeah, she's definitely one of them. She looked pretty clueless on debut at Beverley earlier in the season, but ran on really nicely. Massive eye catcher that day, and then ran well in the Chesham Stakes at Royal Ascot. Improved again, I thought, went absolutely hosing up on the July course only 2 or 3 weeks ago, on July the 22nd.
The runner-up bolted up.
Beating Ambient Amigo by over 4 lengths, who subsequently won by about 6 lengths, I think, at Lingfield. So that looks good form. She obviously likes the July course and looks to be improving all the time we're racing, and I think she could be the one here.
Wild Goddess, Kieran. I'm not throwing that at you. That's the name of the horse.
Thank you.
And another firmly in that potential improving category.
It's rare you see a Charlie Appleby horse that's come out and won a minor event, go into a group race and be 4th or 5th in the betting, isn't it? But she did nothing wrong last time. From a ratings perspective, she does have a bit to find with the likes of Carolina Reaper. She's got £4 to find, and then obviously a bit more to find with those who've already proven themselves at this sort of level. But she's from a useful family rather than a smart family. She does wear a hood, potentially can be a bit buzzy. I just think she does need to improve. She doesn't strike me as one of their top ones. She might strike me as one who's probably going to pick up black type, and it'll be a case of job done. We'll send her off to stud in time. But yeah, I was in agreement with Scoop. I loved what Carolina Reaper did here last time. She's improving all the time. She got smart pedigree. I love Too Darn Hot as a sire. They can be a bit buzzy, but he's really taken off as a sire, hasn't he, his first season? And the Johnson team seems to have quite a few nice ones. They've got another one called Individualism, who is worth keeping an eye out for. He was meant to run at Goodwood last week before it got called off, and I know they were really keen on him that day. So he looks to have quite a nice crop of 2-year-olds, I think, Charlie Johnson. So Carolina Reaper for me around 4-1, she'd be done.
Our 2-year-old guru, Dan Bryden, Individualism for the Aiken, was one of the horses he's had on his radar all year. So a shame we didn't get to him in action at Goodwood. There's the thoughts on the Sweet Solera. I want one other bet from elsewhere. It could be Ascot, Haydock, wherever you want, Ben. Wherever you want. Not sort of virtual racing, proper racing. Give us another bet for Saturday.
Portman Park can wait, yeah.
Yeah. We'll go to the Shergar Cup day for the Shergar Cup Classic over 1.5 miles at 3:55. Do like the look of Richard Fires here, Golden Move, son of Golden Horn, who really impressed, I thought, last time at Doncaster. It was his 4th start, and he looks like he's really got to grips with the racing game. He was no more impressive than at the finish, pulling away from an in-form horse in Graham. The pair were miles clear of another Charlie Johnston horse, Bailey's Kelstar, who has come out of that contest and run well a couple of times since, beating a head at Yarmouth, beating a neck at Ripon. So it looks really good form. He's only gone up £5. And Olivier Pellier takes the ride, having won this race for Richard 9 years ago at the Shergar Cup. So hopefully lightning can strike twice.
Lovely stuff. Kieran, your best bet elsewhere on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm going to tip a horse in the Shergar Cup Stayers. If you're not a fan of team racing, you're going to have to be a stayer, right, to get for ITV racing on Saturday. But I like Laura to see it at a double figure price. I was really keen on him at Goodwood in that 2.5 mile race that I had there last week. He got really well backed and he just ran no sort of race. But the fact they're backing him up quickly suggests that they think he can bounce back quickly. He's got quite a good bit of form in the book since joining Ian Williams this season. I thought he probably should have won the Chester Cup. He looked a bit unlucky. Shaped well a couple of times. He was struck into in the Northumberland Plate, so forgive that run. If he can bounce back, he's got a cracking jockey booking in the Magic Man, João Moreira, who probably isn't used to riding 2 mile stayers, but you know, I think he's got a cracking each way chance 11 to 1 if he can put that last run behind him.
You brought me a big beaker of Moreira, didn't you?
I did when I came back from Hong Kong, yeah. Did it? Has it survived the years?
It's in the work locker, as you well know, which I can't get access to because you made up my 4-code digit and nobody knows what it is because you forgot it. But there you go, on that bombshell, thanks to Ben and Kieran for their best bets for Saturday. Is it an interesting day's action? And best of luck with your own weekend wagers.